To this old Mexican silver mine town, 3,000 people came to talk treasure. Treasure the conquistadors never dreamed of. Treasure not gold, but green.
Y una vía, precisamente, creo que la más importante en términos tecnológicos a futuro es el desarrollo y comercialización e investigación de las energías renovables. Porque de no hacerlo, los daños al patrimonio natural de la humanidad y de la patria y los daños económicos incluso serán inconmensurablemente mayores a los costos en los que tengamos que incurrir para revertir o atenuar por lo menos el cambio climático y el calentamiento global.
Estoy convencida de que hoy nos encontramos en un momento histórico. Estamos en el umbral de una etapa distinta en la que es preciso cambiar la forma en que producimos y consumimos energía para el funcionamiento de nuestras sociedades.
The agenda, not just R&D, but getting green technology out of the laboratory and into the streets, the fields, the factories, and the kitchens. Post-Mexico and the UN's Industrial Development Organization teamed up to draw participants from 70 countries.
We were confident that we could bring together some of the best experts, policymakers, private sector and civil society in this multi-stakeholder forum.
It's about the challenge of moving from research and development through demonstration to large-scale application at a pace of development we have not yet experienced except under wartime conditions.
The audience weighed right in with facts and opinions, and the leaders paid attention. The world economic crisis may have stalled some investment in renewables, but Mexico's best-known investor sees opportunity for green investing.
Es que en virtud de la gran y difícil situación económica y financiera en los países desarrollados que se tiene, resulta que hay abundancia de dinero a largo plazo, a baja tasa de interés, como no ha habido, cuando menos en mi vida ya larga profesional.
But there's an unknown here.
To what extent can governments and business see the recovery packages as the transformative opportunity to begin to design new energy systems? How do we get good public-private partnerships to provide the incentives that will give businesses confidence to say, fine, we'll risk some capital?
Rajendra Pachauri of the Nobel Prize-winning Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change spoke of institutional hurdles.
Opportunities for improving energy efficiency are really like dollar bills lying on the sidewalk. There are institutional weaknesses and institutional gaps and hindrances which don't allow us to improve the efficiency of energy use.
What does it take to scale up renewables? The conference had many ideas. One, policy stability.
Stable public policy to give confidence to the investors that, hey, these policies will be there for 10 or 15 years. Because remember, renewable energy investments and others, these are long-term investments.
Two, a green access fund to help poorer states and people with the expensive job of making the transition.
Todos contribuimos a crear el fondo en base a una serie de variables. Una variable es el ingreso per cápita del país para medir su capacidad de pago. Otra variable es las emisiones de carbono por cada unidad de Producto Interno Bruto para medir la eficiencia energética. Mientras menos emisiones por unidad de Producto Interno Bruto, hay más eficiencia. Otra variable de país es las emisiones per cápita de ese país y una variable de emisiones históricas acumuladas.
Three, a treasury of energy knowledge open to all, likely under the new International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA.
Basically, you do that by building up a worldwide network of experts, having a worldwide database on potential, having some, database on technology, what's available in the field. You need to work closely with the business, obviously, just to get the feedback and know what's going on there.
We need to diffuse rapidly the best technologies. This is a challenge. How much of today's technology do we commit to, knowing that tomorrow's may be substantially better?
And finally, making carbon less attractive.
To deal with all of this, it is obvious that we must tackle the issue of carbon price. We must price carbon.
A carbon price and a carbon tax, which could be the revenues from which can be used for supporting R&D in renewables, supporting special incentive packets for financing renewable energy projects, will be critical. If we don't have a good price on carbon, it's going to be tough.
Host country Mexico shares many of the world's issues about renewables. Its most important staple is maize, and there'd be trouble if maize for fuel alcohol overwhelmed maize for food. Its cities have the same pollution problems as many others. Once a big oil exporter, its richest fields are dwindling, and some analysts say in 5 years Mexico could become an oil importer. Against that background, the government has set up an array of legal frameworks, incentives, and government programs and support initiatives for going green. Richly endowed with renewables potential, Mexico is already third in the world in geothermal energy and has plenty of wind and sun. In the last few years, it has gone from 2% alternative energy to 8%.
Las grandes hidroeléctricas, México al terminar mi administración tendrá el 26% de energía generada a través de energía renovable.
Here's a second-generation biomass project still in its infancy. Jatropha curcas, hardy and inedible, no risk of it crowding out maize. Poison seeds break down into diesel.
We're against competing with any food source, and actually we're establishing our farms in land that will never be usable for food crops.
And now the third biomass generation, ethanol from algae. Sergio Ramirez says it has all the advantages of existing technologies and none of the disadvantages.
Pongo un ejemplo, las tecnologías tradicionales, es decir, producir a partir de maíz o de caña, necesitan tierra cultivable. Nosotros no necesitamos tierra cultivable. 2, necesitan agua dulce. Nosotros necesitamos agua salada. 3, emiten más CO2 del que terminan inhibiendo. Nosotros captamos grandes cantidades de CO2 durante el proceso.
Don't celebrate yet, says Melinda Kimball of the UN Foundation.
And when we have oil running at $70 a barrel, it's very hard to find competitive products. I would say ethanol from sugarcane has shown the most economic sustainability under any test that we've seen.
The Mexican government is also giving a push to power spun out of the wind. This 1.5 megawatt aerogenerator is bound for a big new wind farm in Oaxaca.
Y es una solución fundamental en la lucha contra el cambio climático, precisamente por estas características, porque es fácil de instalar, rápido de instalar y puede reemplazar perfectamente a cualquier otra tecnología de generación eléctrica.
We know that Mexico will lead in the area of wind energy, probably reaching 2,500 megawatts soon, thanks to the leadership of the President. Question: will Mexico also be a major manufacturer of the components? That's what we see happening in Asia. You can have green solutions, but you need green jobs as well. Can the solutions also help countries grow? Can the solutions create wealth and opportunity in countries? It's not just selling technologies.
10 minutes walk from the conference, green technology is paying off for Jose Jimenez in the heart of the Mexican diet, tortillas. Used heat from tortilla baking is shifted to the back of the system where it preheats the maize. That shortens baking time and allows Jimenez to sell his tortillas for 7 pesos a kilo, 2 pesos less than the competition. Cooking is much neglected in the green debate, says the UN Development Programme's Susan McDade. Billions of women have to waste their days and their health gathering wood and breathing smoke. for lack of a suitable stove.
Frankly, the business sector needs to look at it as an opportunity. If I was selling toothpaste and there were 2 billion people, or 3 billion people by some estimates, that didn't have toothpaste, I would see a market. Why doesn't the private sector see a market in over 2 billion people cooking on unhealthy, unsustainable, and in some cases expensive biomass?
Opportunities were just around the corner at this conference, a special place for matchmaking between people looking for someone they could do business with. Philip Chang, Cosmo Electronics Taiwan, was offering small wind turbines.
We flew all the way from Taipei. We met a couple people here today, this morning. Some government, from state governments, and some private companies. I'm hoping this could lead to some good, business opportunities.
No theory here, just action, with more to come.
I was asked by somebody this morning, Dr. Yumkela, when are you going to have the next conference? And I said, well, 2010, I don't want to have another conference. 2010, I want you and us to begin to design the programs, to design the solutions that we take to communities. 2010 should be for action.